The thing is, it doesn't have to be so difficult. There are some things you can do, so let's take a look at this. Now, the most important thing you have to understand is that everything starts with short sentences, right? You're making it very difficult for yourself if you're starting with something long. So, start with the basics and then build on that. You could say, hvorfor er du glad? Okay, easy. Why are you happy? Hvorfor er du ikke glad? Why are you not happy? Hvorfor er du ikke glad i dag? Why are you not happy today? Hvorfor er du ikke så glad i dag? Why are you not so happy today? Okay? Now, I understand, of course, as a learner, you don't always know where to put the different words, but that is where you have AI or perhaps you have a teacher, right? So there are ways to check if your grammar is correct. A lot of the time people think that it's this very big deal making correct sentences in Danish, but really if you just follow the rules, it becomes a lot easier. Are the rules complicated? They're not that complicated. They're easy enough. So you could say, lad os spise. Okay? Lad os spise, let's eat. Lad os spise noget mad. Let's eat some food. Okay, nice. Ja, lad os spise noget varm mad. Okay, let's eat some warm or hot food. Lad os spise noget varm mad sammen. Okay, some hot food together. So you see that I'm just adding stuff, right? And if you think that it seems a little bit random, the word order, okay, fine, we'll get to that later, how you can really reinforce the right grammar. But again, go back to the basics. Think about what is the most basic thing you can say. Make sure it's correct, because you got it from a native speaker, and then build on that. Okay, could say, nu kommer jeg. Okay, now I'm coming, hello. Nu kommer jeg snart. Now I'm coming soon. Nu kommer jeg igen. Oh, I replaced the word. You can also do that. Right? I'm coming again. Nu kommer jeg snart igen. Oh, sorry, nu kommer jeg snart hjem. Now I'm soon coming home. Nu kommer jeg snart tilbage. Now I'm soon coming back. So it's not really that hard when you think about it. Then of course you could also do something else. You could take sort of a pattern and then you can replace some words with others. So han synger altid gamle sange. He always sings old songs. So the key here is han and altid. He always. He always does something. And of course note that you need to put the verb here in the middle. Han synger altid. Don't say han altid synger. That's English. He always sings. But we put the verb first because it's a main clause. Han synger altid. But then you could also say hun bager altid pandekager. Right? Because we just replace the verb and replace the noun. Synger, verb. Bager, verb. Gamle sange, old songs, verb with an adjective. And pandekager, that's a noun. Right? So sange, noun. Pandekager, noun. Du går altid tur med din hund. You always take your dog for a walk. Du går altid tur med din hund. Du altid something something. Right? So if you start to look at it this way, sort of mathematically, even if you don't think you're some great genius at that, it becomes a lot easier because the language is not a big mystery. There is a set of rules that you can go by. Something classic, like selvom han er rig, er han ikke lykkelig. Yeah, okay. So even though he is rich, he is not happy. Or han er ikke lykkelig, selvom han er rig. He is not happy even though he is rich. Right? So this is just classic inversion. And maybe you think inversion is kind of difficult, but it's not. Yeah, trust me, it's not. And I made like 4 or 5 videos about it. There's so much stuff you can watch and really get a proper understanding. It's not that complicated. Now, you might also do something else like challenge yourself. Like you can have one sentence and then you can add a conjunction afterwards, some kind of like and, or, but, something like that. Det er rigtigt, at hun er min kone. Like it's true, it's right, like it's correct that she's my wife. Det er rigtigt, at hun er min kone, men hun bor ikke her. Like, but she doesn't live here. Kind of strange, but good for practice. Det er rigtigt, at jeg har et arbejde. It's true that I have a job. Det er rigtigt, at jeg har et arbejde, men det er kedeligt, but it's boring. Right? So sometimes, instead of trying to make it from scratch, like trying to come up with everything, take something that's already out there and then just attach something or just change one or two words. Of course, they have to be the same word class, has to be proper grammar. But try to find something that you believe is the same word class, same verb tense, or same plural, singular noun, and then put it in there, right? Because you can save a lot of energy. That is the whole point of this video. That's the point of many of my videos, actually. You don't have to go through this big ordeal to make proper sentences. Something else that also has to be mentioned, of course, is, you gotta be aware of what the most common mistakes are. Now, there are many. I just listed a few of them here. Tror versus synes. Gør versus laver. Ved, kender, når, da. Typical inversion mistakes or mistakes about time. Now, there are many other mistakes, but I always think of these first because in the, 11 and a half years that I've been doing private lessons, it's almost always the same mistakes that I hear. and I've explained it like thousands of times. Right? It's not really that complicated. Now, luckily for you, I already have videos about this. Right? I've talked about this in great detail, many of these things, so you can look those videos up. You know what? I'll put something in the comment section and in the video description, and it's easier for you. But do not fear. If you can identify the most common mistakes and fix them, it becomes a lot easier, right? Because here's the thing. Sorry guys. Alright. Here's the thing. I always get these comments. People say it in private lessons and they write it in comments. They say, but Thomas, this is so difficult. The Danish language is one big mess and I'm so bad. I've been learning for weeks or months or years and I just suck, right? This is the kind of stuff that people say. And actually, I am not a mind reader. I'm not inside everybody's minds, of course. But usually what happens is that if you feel that way, it's because you try to master everything at once, or because you look at the language like it's this giant puzzle or maze, like a labyrinth, where you have to figure it out perfectly, right? But actually it's not. It's more about identifying the specific mistakes that are the most common, and then once you fix those, then you will make a lot fewer. It's almost too good to be true, but it is true. And tror og synes or inversion mistakes or når versus da, I hear these mistakes many times a week, right? And that's because they're so universal. Then there are some mistakes that you as an individual might make because of your native language. If your language doesn't use personal pronouns so much, like Spanish or Japanese, for instance, or if it's a Slavic language and you don't have the definite form, there can definitely be some challenges there. But a lot of the time, with the 150 people that I've been teaching over the years, it's the same mistakes over and over. So that means that if you identify those mistakes, and again, I made videos about this, you can sound so much better, especially something like inversion. Goddamn, if you can fix your inversion mistakes, you sound better than 95% of all learners. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It is the number one mistakes that almost everybody makes. So probably about, it's hard to put an exact number, but maybe somewhere around 20 or 30, as high as 50. If you can just fix those mistakes, you're golden, right? Whatever remains is very little after that, of course. Now, something that's also important, of course, is that you need the right source material. If I'm just telling you, hey, just go practice, just go do something, you might be like, well, okay, cool, Thomas, but with what? I'm just a learner. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to take it from, So something that's very good in general is if you have some source material from a native speaker. And this is also where you have to be aware that using something like Duolingo is okay, but the sentences are extremely textbook. And most of them are, they're technically correct, but they're not really indicative. They don't really reflect how we speak in real life. Then if you use something like ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever AI chatbot you're into, some of the time it does a good job at generating stuff, but other times it's just a complete shit show. It's really bad sometimes. It's so bad. When I use it, I tell it to, hey, speak back to me in English. I don't want to hear your nonsense Danish, okay? So you don't want to rely on that. And also some of these Danish channels that are not by native speakers, like what is it called? Danish stories, total shit. Don't watch it. Lingo Talks, DA, like for Dansk, don't watch it. Like some of these channels, they're not run by native speakers, so you're gonna pick up some very bad sentence structure and super unnatural AI Danish. Okay, so be careful with that. All right, that was a little warning. Now here we have some native stuff, because I made it, I'm Danish. So, for instance, måske skulle jeg ringe efter en ambulance. Now you have the translation here, right? Maybe I should call an ambulance or call for an ambulance. Now, maybe that's not your exact scenario. Maybe you don't have a problem with your body or anything, but it could be something else. Måske skulle jeg, maybe I should. What is an action you can think of? Måske skulle jeg stå op. Maybe I should get up. Måske skulle jeg gå i seng. Maybe I should go to bed. It's kind of the opposite. Måske skulle jeg tie stille. Maybe I should be quiet. Måske skulle jeg tage en chance. Maybe I should take a chance. And so here the beauty is that you already have the first part. Like it's handed to you. You don't have to think from scratch. Like maybe I should. Måske skulle jeg. Something. Måske skulle jeg gå i seng. Måske skulle jeg stå op. Måske skulle jeg tie stille. Måske skulle jeg tage en chance. Right? So it's a lot easier when you don't have to do it from scratch. Right? It's pretty nice like that. Alright, cool. Let's see. Det vil nok være en god idé. Ja, okay. This one is even better for practice. Men jeg foretrækker. So of course, this thing is about he wants to arrive at the hospital in a Mercedes. Now, we don't have to say that. We can say something more normal. Jeg foretrækker at. Jeg foretrækker at gøre det på min måde. I prefer to do it in my way. At gøre det på min måde. Jeg foretrækker at, let's just say, at, what could it be? Jeg foretrækker at spise noget, der ikke er sødt. Eat something that is not sweet. Right? So just this thing jeg foretrækker at, because this is also what I hear from learners. So they're like, oh, okay, so if I'm in this situation, I can just use this constellation, like these two verbs or these nouns together. Yes, reuse it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Like reinventing the wheel, that's a tongue twister for me. If you do that all the time, you just make yourself tired. So don't even bother. Like take something that's easy and then just attach something new, something you already have in mind. Right? Yeah, I'm kind of excited to be talking about that because it makes it so much easier to learn. Like if everybody knew this, like the Danish level of the average learner would be way higher. Yeah. Alright, cool. Så i dag siger jeg nej tak. Måske skulle jeg. There it is again. What about this one? Han er helt vildt dygtig. Yeah, this is nice. So helt vildt is like pretty informal. You know, it's generally something you say when you're on the younger side. I'm 36, so I guess I can still claim that. Yeah, older people don't really say it, but it's basically like crazy, like incredibly, like super or something. It's a little over the top. Han er helt vildt, ikke? Han er helt vildt stærk. He's crazy strong. Dygtig is of course skilled. Han er helt vildt charmerende, charming. Or whatever you can come up with. Ikke helt vildt something. Doesn't have to be about a person. Could also be about a thing. Ikke? So whether it's a thing or a person doesn't really matter. Ikke helt vildt, like crazy something. And why is this important? Well, it might not be your personal preference to speak like this. However, imagine you just keep talking like Duolingo or your textbook. You know, you go to lære dansk sprogskole, and it's fine. You know, you want to pass a test, I get it. But they don't really teach you how we speak in the real world. Like in Denmark, you know. You cannot just say meget og rigtig all the time. Sometimes you want to sound colorful. Okay? Plus, when you get into the more interesting aspects of the Danish language, then the grammar becomes like, okay, I don't like the grammar, but it's kind of the glue that holds it all together, and the grammar allows me to enjoy the language, you know, to really have fun with the language, rather than just seeing it as this goddamn chore. Eh? Okay, something about Dr. Dre, la. En gang var han, yeah, this is actually also very useful. Like, so en gang is like once upon a time or just once, like a long time ago. Engang var jeg ung. Ikke? Once I was young. Engang var jeg meget bange for, I don't know, myg. Engang var jeg meget bange for myg. That is not a mistake. Google is wrong. Yeah. Once I was very afraid of mosquitoes. Right? So, again, sometimes you can just take one word. Engang var. Ikke? Once, like I or he or she was. Right? Engang var jeg, engang var du, engang var han. Okay, now I have like hundreds of texts, and we're not going to go through all of them, obviously, but I'm just going to give you some more examples here. Ved du hvad, man? Jeg spiser ikke kød mere, okay? So you became a vegan, that's cool. Så jeg spiser ikke kød mere. Jeg... something, ikke... I don't something anymore. Jeg drikker ikke alkohol længere. That's a classic. Some people do that. Jeg drikker ikke alkohol længere. Ikke? Og jeg læser ikke... what could it be? Nyhederne længere. It could actually just be nyhederne længere. Right? I don't read the news anymore. So I don't something anymore. Right? Jeg ikke something mere. Hvorfor gør du ikke det? Fordi jeg er blevet veganer. Ikke? Så fordi jeg er blevet, because I've become. Ikke? Så fordi jeg er blevet voksen, because I grew up, I've become an adult. Ikke? Fordi jeg er blevet mere ansvarlig. Right? So that's an adjective. Ikke? I've become more responsible. Ikke? So you see, you already have the constellation. Jeg er blevet, I've become. Right? Very often, like the reason why learners they struggle is because they try to pull it out. They're like, oh, so should I say fordi jeg blev, because I became, or fordi jeg er, because I am? Well, just take this, steal it, take it from me, you know, a native speaker. And then you can put your own thing at the end, right? Så spiser du heller ikke mejeriprodukter, det gør jeg ikke. Spiser heller ikke honning. Oh yeah, this is one that's worth covering. You know, I'm gonna put it on the next page. Easier to look at. Oh yeah, cool. Now this one is... actually I should move it over here a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. Okay. So heller ikke, why is this important? Well, it's because many people, they say ikke også, and like not to. That's wrong, of course. Heller ikke is either or neither. Right? Så jeg er heller ikke klar. I'm not ready either. Jeg spiser heller ikke fisk. I don't eat fish either. Right? So it's very important to have that. Another one. Hvor længe har du været veganer? How long have you been a vegan? Hvor længe har du været is so good. How long have you been? It's something that is so basic, but still, if you as a learner don't master that, then you're gonna walk around, you speak this very broken Danish, and if you can avoid that, then why not? Hvor længe har du været? How long have you been? Hvor længe har du været her? How long have you been here? Hvor længe har du boet her? Have you lived here? Present perfect. Hvor længe har du haft det sådan? How long have you felt like that? Hvor længe har du? How long have you? Like how long has this been going on? Right? So there is some beautiful logic to this. You can look at grammar in, well, I would say 2 ways. Right? Fundamentally, there are 2 different ways. One is that you see it as this big, annoying monster that's kind of like blocking you from getting good at the language, where you're like, oh, I just want to shoot it with my little laser gun or whatever you have, you know, and you hate it. The other one is where you're like, oh, actually the grammar makes it easier. The grammar makes me understand the language. Like it's not just this obstacle, it's actually something that makes a difference, you know, a positive difference. So if you shift to that mindset, it's going to be so much better. Okay, Yeah, of course, there's always more that I can dissect, right? But I don't want to do that because we also have other stuff to talk about. But you can see how it's slowly coming together. It's not so random. It's not so difficult. It's actually, you know, held together by a lot of rules. And the rules are not there to annoy you, but to make sense of the language. Okay, cool. Now, I wrote a question here, right? And you can see it. So when you're making sentences, how do you do it? Like, you're trying to make a sentence in Danish. How do you go about it? Do you just translate directly from English, or maybe even your own language? Like, that's what some people do, and it can create some catastrophically bad sentences. It doesn't mean you should feel bad about it, but it does mean that you're very likely to make a wrong sentence when you do that, especially if the language is far away from Danish. English, yeah, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. If you do it from Spanish or Chinese or Arabic or something very far away from Danish, that's going to end up looking very poorly. Okay, just so you know. Or maybe your approach is more like, okay, I'm making a Danish sentence, so I have to think about it. Like, I have to think about this personal pronoun, this preposition, this verb, this adjective. Like, everything has to be in the right place. It's almost like you're thinking you're gonna lose. You know, like it's defeat. You somehow, you made a mistake, like a serious mistake, and something bad is gonna happen if you make a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, I've actually seen this with some learners. They treat it like it's very high stakes situation, which it's not, right? So that's not great. You know, you're putting in the effort, and I can respect that, but you're burning a lot of energy. And that's also why some learners, they say, oh my God, Danish is so hard. It's like, that's because you're trying to reinvent the wheel every time, like I said. Right? So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is, as much as possible, you want to copy sentences made by native speakers. And this is something I've been talking a lot about in the past year, but I see that people are still not doing it, so I'm going to keep talking about it. It's just necessary. And to the extent that it's possible, you want to copy what native speakers have already made, because then you don't have to think so much. You know, like, I remember when I was learning English in school, when I was a teenager, I hated English class. It was just the most boring thing ever. But I did like The Simpsons, or South Park. You know, you watch my videos, you know my stories, you can imagine what I'm into. The point is, you just find something that you like, something on Netflix or DRDK or TV2 DR, whatever, audiobooks. Go to a library, find a book, a children's book or something where you're like, yeah, this is actually what I like. You know, it's not just Duolingo or some boring grammar video. Again, grammar is fine, but it's not really the fun stuff, right? You get tired after a while. So you want to copy from native speakers as much as you can, right? And then sometimes, you know, you study a little grammar, you're like, oh yeah, like this is the rule, like that kind of binds it together. That's the explanation. There's a rhyme and reason to this. It's not just completely random, right? But you want to copy sentences as much as possible. So then, of course, it's always a question like where do you do it? I already said, like, be very careful when something is made by AI. Not because it's so totally useless, but there's a risk that you're gonna get some very strange sentences. So of course we have to be aware, and we have to be aware of the sources. And that's also why, you know, I took time to make this, you know, like these apps that I made. I spent a couple of months really getting it right. Like, now, there are two ways you can do it, I would say. You can take from stories. Right? Like, you can take sentences from stories, then there's like a longer context, that's nice, it's more interesting, but it can also be a little more demanding, like taxing on your attention span, so to speak. But, you know, you could say, like, let's see, I morgen skal jeg giftes, like, tomorrow I'm getting married. Okay. I morgen skal jeg se en ven. Right? Like, I morgen skal jeg se en ven, that's perhaps something you could say. Right? So, yeah, when you leave it for too long, it doesn't analyze correctly, right? That's what happens when you leave the app open. But essentially, what you want to do, like however you analyze it, it's just so useful to have, let's refresh, to have a source of a lot of sentences. And it's been many years. I guess I made like 600 videos, and then I also made many short stories that are not even on YouTube. Like, just so many things, right? And the more you have, the better, right? Like, the more materials you have, the more you can draw from, the better off you are, right? Like, you want to make sure that it's like a river, like the Nile or whatever, some long ass river that you can think of, and that you are taking the materials from, right? Okay, cool. Let's see. We did a refresh here. Okay, let's see. Right? Hvad hedder du? Hvordan går det? Hvordan går det, min ven? Ikke? How's it going, my friend? Ikke? So like, when we look at these things, ikke? Then of course you get the feedback. Ikke? You get the feedback when you... Give me a sec, let me see, is the ratio correct? Yeah, okay, looks fine, right? Alright, we got it. Yeah, okay, cool. Right? And in some cases, the app will also make suggestions. Right? Hvordan går det derhjemme? Like, how are things at home? Like you and the family. Hvordan går det derhjemme? Hvordan går det derhjemme? Yeah, sure, that's good. And you don't need the comma. You could also say, hvordan går det egentlig? Like, how is it actually going? Like, how is it really going? Hvordan går det egentlig? Now, so here we are taking something from a longer context, right? If you have this app, of course, you can also just browse and read. You don't have to do all the exercises, all the sentences. Is it 125 different like stories or essays, monologues that I uploaded? Yeah, I went a bit crazy with this one, but I couldn't help myself because when you're learning, it is so important that you learn from different sources. If your mindset is just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to learn what's relevant to my profession, you know, maybe you're engineer, nurse, doctor, something with programming, could be different things, you know, could also be some more physical labor, manual labor. Whatever it is, you always want to learn more than just your profession, right? Like you always want to learn as much as possible because you never know what you're gonna need. Okay, så det er ikke et spørgsmål om respekt. Yeah, okay, it's not a matter of respect. Det er ikke et spørgsmål om ærlighed. It's not a question of honesty. Det er ikke et spørgsmål om ærlighed. Okay, let's see, we're checking it. You could also say, of course it's correct. And then you get the points, you get the feedback. That's nice, right? So you don't have to wonder like, is it correct? Man, I don't know. No, you get the feedback right here. Så det er ikke kun et spørgsmål, altså det er ikke kun, it is not just a question. Så det er ikke kun et spørgsmål om ærlighed. Ja. Men også anstændighed. Now, I get it, I'm native speaker, it's not really fair, but you know, men også anstændighed means, but also decency. Så det er ikke kun et spørgsmål om ærlighed, men også anstændighed. Right? And the app is always going to tell you, okay, it's correct, but actually you can make it even better, because you can always make it better. So this is something that I made, knowing that like it would take time, but actually most languages, when you really think about it, you don't get like the apps where it's just kind of handed to you, you know? Like ideally that there should be apps where you can just get into it, like really practice sentence patterns. So this other app I made is a little easier in the sense that you don't have to go through the stories. But you could say, let's see, it's sort of isolated sentences. Jeg trænger til at verb noget, okay, I need to. Jeg trænger til at spise, altså drikke noget koldt. Ja, jeg trænger til at spise, drikke noget koldt. Ikke? Okay, of course it's correct. Ikke? You can say, okay, we want to skip, go to the next one. Men bør huske at, okay, a little more advanced. Person is against noun, and he's against noun in noun. And so this is nice if you don't want to like go deep into the text. Ja, jeg er nødt til at... Jeg er vel nødt til at hjælpe ham snart. Right? And don't be scared if the app is like trying to limit you. You know, you can make it longer. Like, as long as the grammar is correct, it's fine. Okay, jeg tror something er færdig. I think the cake is done. Okay, you could say that. Nogle gange sker der også gode ting. Right? Nogle gange sker der også gode ting. So this is the kind of thing where you as a learner, you wouldn't think of that, right? Maybe you would say, gode ting sker nogle gange. Because when you're a learner, all you're thinking about is what is correct and what is incorrect. Okay, fair, I get that. But if you want to sound like a native speaker, you want to have something presented to you, that's not just educational, but also conversational, right? So that's what that is. And there are so many angles from which, you can approach this. Like, I'm going to load a third app. Actually, there's like 5 apps, but we'll just focus on some of them here. So think about, like, when you're learning, how do you go about it? Do you sit down and you just write a lot of sentences, then you proofread? Do you compare it to what native speakers have made? You should. You should be doing that, right? So let's see, give it a moment to load. It is a rather powerful app, so it could take a moment. Or maybe we'll just keep it at these 2 today. That's fine too. Oh, there it is. It was faster. Right. Okay, so in this one, on purpose, I put a lot of mistakes. Hey manden, hvordan går det? Like, hey man, how's it going? Hey manden sounds pretty strange, right? Of course, you would say, hey man. Like, hey man, hvordan går det? Right? And get some feedback. Right? So that's... Right? Exactly. Det går godt, it's going well, og jeg har et god nyhed. So you can already see, if you've been learning Danish for a while, that that's just not correct. Det går godt, og jeg har en god nyhed. Of course, it's en nyhed. It cannot be it god, that would be it godt, and it's en nyhed, so yeah, you get the point. So that's what it is. And it's always a combination. Like, when you're learning, you want to ask yourself, what do I need right now? And then you want to combine it with feedback. Now, some of you get private teachers. That's awesome. Obviously that's been my job for many years and all. But I understand that some of you might not be able to swing that logistically, financially, whatever it might be. And so the second best is, in addition to having a boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, something like that, the second best is to, have apps that can give you the feedback. Because you don't want to be just like guessing in the dark or shooting in the dark. Just like, is this right? Is this right? I don't know. And then sometimes what I also experience, or what I see, is that some learners, they're like, oh yeah, let's all talk together. I'm like, yeah, but then it's the blind leading the blind. I'm sorry to say, guys, but that's just not the right approach, right? Like, you need that native voice. And if you cannot get a real person, at least get some AI that can do it for you. Teacher is best. If you cannot get a teacher, then get the second best thing, right? So that was basically a lot of stuff about, how to improve your Danish grammar. It's not as difficult as you might think. And like, you can really get better. Like I said before, just think about what are the main challenges. And don't try to master all of Danish grammar at once. That's just gonna make you tired and frustrated. But just think, like, fix the main mistakes. Like, fix the main mistakes, and then you'll be a lot better than you are right now, and better than everyone else. Right? So yeah, why not? Of course, as always, there's the website, danishmastery.com. That's all the videos, all the bonus materials. It's a lot of stuff, The apps, they're subscription-based, but if you want lifetime access to something else, then you can get a lot of PDF files and podcasts and many other cool things, ebooks and such, that I have made, because you cannot call it Danish Mastery if it's just videos, right? YouTube, you get videos for free, a lot, but there's more videos on the website, plus you get all the bonuses, and it's lifetime access, so what's not to love about that? Alright, let's just take a quick look here in the live chat. We got City Nuridaya saying Baka Piwa. Yeah, guys, that's an insider joke, and it's okay if you don't know it. Baka Piwa. Yeah. And then we got Andreas Budka, who's always here. Yeah, German name. So what time is it in Central Europe now? It's like, it's almost 12, right? Yeah, I'm here in Malaysia. Sometimes I forget the time. Helt fantastisk. Fantastisk. You gotta watch the spelling, but I know what you mean. Helt fantastisk som altid, Thomas. Tak for det. Yeah, sure, man. Thanks. Alright, guys, that was all for now. So, keep learning, keep studying, and don't worry, the grammar is not that hard. You just gotta redirect your energy instead of being frustrated. Just do some exercises, use some apps, and then think about Oh yeah, actually what Thomas said is right. Just copy from native speakers. There's a way and you'll find it. So thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Take care.